Welcome to the live stream, ladies and gentlemen. My name is JT and you're watching Black Box Trading. Oh man, Bitcoin is breaking out. Things are looking good. Is the low in? Is the bottom in? Are the bears going to get wrecked? Are we going to be heading up to higher levels? Are we going to break the new all-time high? We are on track for what we've been saying for a while, which is that May acceleration. So we were talking about April being a month of repair. We're getting close to the end of April now. We've got how many days left do we have in April? You know what? Let's just jump into the charts. Let's get some visuals up and running here. Let's take a look at the monthly chart. 10 days left in this monthly candle, and if you go and review some of the prior live streams, we said what we want is a bullish engulfing candle here on the month of April that will lead the way for us to have a 3-bar reversal and lead the way for us to get to a new all-time high in the month of May. It's playing out. It's playing out, ladies and gentlemen. It's looking really, really good. We did have some resting orders to take some higher leveraged plays that didn't get filled. But hey, you know, we are long. We are spot long, and we are ready to rock to the upside. So things are looking good. Yeah, 3-bar reversal. We also said if this candle closes as a hammer, which if it closes anywhere near the price that it's at right now, obviously we got 10 days left, there's still plenty of price action left, but if we close it looking like a hammer like this, it's going to be a beautiful May. It's going to be a beautiful May. So I'm all here for it. I'm excited. Let me know what you guys think. Shout out to the chat. Are we bullish? We bullish? We heading up? Is the low in? Was 76 the low? Was 74 the low? What was the low? The low on this candle was 74.4. Was that it? A lot of people calling for lower levels, but there will always be people calling for lower levels, just as there will always be people calling for higher levels when you are in a rally. So things are looking good. Let's just take a quick little peek at a beautiful chart, and then we'll come back to Bitcoin because we're not done with Bitcoin yet. We're not done with the king of all crypto. Look at this chart. Look at this monthly chart. Now, if this closes as bullish engulfing, that leads us to believe that there's even a possibility for altcoin season to kick off sooner rather than later. Now, we've said here on the channel, it's been a Bitcoin dominated market for the entirety of the bull market thus far. Altcoin season is coming, but it hasn't hit quite yet. If we can get this bullish engulfing candle on this on the total chart, then that would be indicating that yes, there is capital flows into altcoins, and we would begin to see a increase in altcoin dominance and lead us into that, you know, infamous altcoin season that we've many people have been waiting very, very patiently for, myself included. I've been basically out of alts with the exception of some ordinals that I minted earlier cycle. Yeah, I've been waiting for this moment, so it's looking really, really good. Looking really good. Now, if we don't get a bullish engulfing candle, I think that is fine. I just think that would mean that we're probably a month behind. So we'll let Bitcoin lead the charge, as Bitcoin always leads the charge, and then alts will really get their day in the market probably about a month behind. So they'll be shortly after. Okay, back to Bitcoin. What are we looking at? Let's take a look at this daily. So this is a breakout. Official breakout here. So we were undecided as to how we wanted to look at this. We were on the fence that this was looking like a clean breakout when we broke this downward sloping line of resistance back here, and we had this really slow motion flag. The flag has broken out. What does that mean? From the low, this is the flag pull. Here is the bull flag. If we pull that up, the targets are going to be at least 95 based off of the flagpole. If we go from the area of the breakout or the high, we're retesting 100K. So I don't expect too much resistance as a result of this breakout move till about this area right here. This is kind of, you know, this is where the acceleration to the downside took place right here. So I would be looking for a support / resistance flip in that zone. And we can see that it was indeed support and resistance all throughout this kind of general area right here. So expect resistance up around the 96, we'll call it 100K. I think 100K will be kind of the first port of call as far as slowing price action down. So that's the way things are looking right now. All right, on the daily, taking a look at the moving averages, let's zoom in here to the alpha numerics indicator. We got to turn MRI off in just a moment. I will go over MRI because we are in a banger MRI trade right now. But let's quickly turn alpha numerics on, and we have cleared above all of the simple moving averages. We are above the 50, we are above the 30, and we are above the 7. The 7 is holding us as support. We do need to get outside of the wave. I think the wave will probably hold us as resistance right now, but once we get on top of this wave, that wave will hold as significant support as it's done in the past. It usually holds as a nice kind of support level. So once we get back on top of that, once we reclaim the wave, we'll probably be smooth sailing, and no joke, we're pretty much gonna be heading, in my opinion, I think this is the beginning of phase 2 of the bull market. We've been talking about how the bull market is divided into 2 different phases. Phase 1 is the recovery. Phase 1 is the recovery where nobody is really new. You do have newcomers coming in. Those are savvy, smart cycle traders, or just people that are lucky. But phase 1 is collectively the people from the prior cycle, from phase 2 of the prior cycle, getting a recovery this cycle. Phase 2 is when things get really exciting, because that's when all the new money comes in. That's when the new retail comes in. That's when the FOMO starts to kick in for the normies, the crypto tourists, the people that are like, hey, what are we buying today? That group is coming. So yeah, lots to get excited for, and yeah, I think we're just at the beginning. We're at the beginning of a much larger cycle. Now, we are still at a resistance point right here. So we do have to get out of here. We got to get above this level right here. I think if we can get a daily candle close above this prior swing high over here, you can see it was rejected 1, 2, 3 days in a row, and rejected here as well, a 4th day, a couple days later. So this is kind of a staunch resistance right around that $88,000 level. If we get even just a candle close above, let's take a look here. Any candle close on the daily above 87.5, we'll call it. So currently we're at 87.2. If we can get above 87.5 and close the day, really healthy signal for the market. So yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good out there. Real quick, before we get into the MRI trade, shout out to the MRI family out there who's been in the trading the tone phase MRI indicator. We have a beautiful signal. We'll get into that in just a moment, but I want to show you guys the updates to the dashboard. If you guys don't have a Blackbox account, it's easy, it's free. Just go to blackbox.pro, BLKBöX.pro, links in the description, and all we need is an email and password, and boom, you're logged into your free trading dashboard. But we have resurrected from the dead the original black box spot strategy, the original strategy that we named the company after, Black Box. Many of you probably didn't even know that our company started with this name, this strategy, Black Box. It's back. It's back, and it's in here. So you'll notice under the dashboard on the side here, we don't only have bots and strategies now. We have bots, futures, spot, and we have strategies, futures, and spot. So if we go into strategies and go to spot, we can see that Black Box has returned. We are back and up and running with the Black Box bot. This bot over the last 5 years has produced a 3,864% gain with an 88.89% probability outcome, meaning that it was correctly identifying the market trends, we'll call it 89% of the time, and an account drawdown of 21%. But who cares about 21% when you're up 3,800%? So definitely go and take a look at that. This is our low frequency, high time frame, slow and steady investment bot. This is really like the alpha numerics indicator is designed around this, the idea of this bot. This is our flagship product. This is that low time preference investment style. So if that's more you, if you're not here for that quick, high frequency, high volatility type of price action, then definitely go check out BlackBox. But apart from that, we also have updates to the dashboard as well. You can see that all of the P&L values will now display not only the USD P&L, but it will display the Bitcoin P&L. So you get both the US dollar and the Bitcoin values put in. All right, enough of that. Let's take a look at how we're doing on this trade with MRI. That's looking really good. So let's turn alpha numerics off. Let's turn MRI on. And boom, we are at a break. We are above a break even stop loss. So everybody on this trade is in the money now. You are not going to walk away from this trade without a little bit of profit. First take profit has been taken. You can see that we got you can see that we got the notification in the Discord here. So 11.6%, 10% of the position was closed at 11.6%. So we've already hit our first TP. Next TP is at 89 and the final TP is at 92. So all of those targets are well within the area of interest for us, up at around 96. So this should be a really good trade. I'm pretty excited about this one. So yeah, it's been a choppy market. So it's good to get a couple of these winners to make up for all of those losses that we've had. All right, let's catch up with the chat real quick. We got some bulls in the chat. Mauricio, how's it going? NKN had a nice pump. We'll take a look at that. Sure, why not? I'll get the bot as soon as I'm back home, but Australia time is weird. Oh, you're in Australia. Nice. All right. Drop your comments in the chat, everybody. If you want me to take a look at individual products or projects, drop the tickers in the chat and we can go ahead and take a look. But let's shift gears here and go back to Bitcoin dominance. How are we looking on dominance? So dominance still climbing. It's not time for altcoins yet. Boy, oh boy, are we getting close, but it is not the time for altcoins yet. So as long as this chart is still printing green candles, we need to approach the market with a level head and understand that everybody that's telling you that to buy altcoins right now is probably a shill. They're probably a shill. There's going to be a time to buy altcoins, and there are plenty of fundamental reasons for you to be interested in an altcoin. But until the market has a tailwind on the altcoin space, stay away. We have been saying this for literally years now. We've been saying this ever since we've been watching this chart tick to the upside. We've said stay away from alts. You're not going to outperform Bitcoin. And if you went heavy in alts, if you have a 100% altcoin portfolio, you're down over 90%. Statistically speaking, you're down over 90% if you're a heavy altcoin portfolio. Whereas if you're a heavy Bitcoin portfolio, 80-90% plus, you're up over 3 or 4x if you were, making the entries that we were making in the bear market lows. So definitely that is still the environment. But altcoin season is coming. It's right around the corner. All we got to do is come back down to this level of 60%, get some nice red candles, some nice ugly red price action like you see right here, and it'll be off to the races in alts. But do not front run alts. You can show up late to alts. You don't need to get into alts too early. You can always show up late to the altcoins. So just build up that Bitcoin position, stay exposed to Bitcoin, and wait for that rotation to take place. Do not front run that rotation, or you'll end up like an Ethereum bag holder. Oh man, shout out to Ethereum holders. Good Lord. How the mighty have fallen. All right. How's XRP doing? XRP doing jack shit, just like it's supposed to. Cool. Solana, it's not doing well against Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still winning. Yeah, Solana, I think if I'm right about Bitcoin in the sense that I believe April is a month of repair, May will be a month of trend creation and acceleration. I also think that I'm right that alts are about a month behind. So for alts, May is going to be a month of repair. That's what I'm calling currently. So I think the alts, yes, you're going to see bullish price action in the alts because when Bitcoin goes up, alts go up, but the reactions are still going to be more severe than the rallies. That's the thing. Like, yes, alts perform very well when Bitcoin's performing well, but until that rotation takes place, their pullbacks are much more dramatic. The strength is still in Bitcoin. Bitcoin rallies 10, falls back 5. An alt will rally 15, fall back 20. So it's taking one step forward, 2 steps back. Until we get that rotation, which I'm going to go ahead and say that repair of the rotation, that rotation is going to begin in May. It'll be about a month away. So if May is Bitcoin's acceleration, June will be altcoin acceleration. Okay, you were wanting to take a look at NKN. I mean, yeah, it pumped. There's a lot of sell pressure though, and it really started to sell off as soon as it got into this liquidity zone here. What is this? What am I looking at? What is NKN? Yeah, I mean, this one's going to take some time. Yes, it had a big rally. I don't think it's done. I think it can very well retrace back down to the zone of the lows. I don't think it's quite done yet. When we take a look at things, it's still a macro downtrend. So it takes at least a month to kick a downtrend. It takes at least a month to kick a downtrend. So this one's not done yet. What does NKN even do? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. It's an Ethereum. It's an Ethereum token. Will Sui do anything this bull run? I believe so. So everything will go up. There is this concept of arbitrage, and across liquidity pools, across different trading pairs, across everything, if altcoins start to go up, every other shitcoin under that blockchain will go up too, just because the liquidity becomes abundant and it just finds its way into every crack and crevice and every token of that ecosystem. If Solana starts to rally, everything that touches Solana rallies. If Base starts to rally, everything that touches Base starts to rally. If Ethereum starts to rally, everything that touches Ethereum starts to rally. And then when you have cross-chain compatibility, so an EVM compatible chain, like a lot of these blockchains are, so if Ethereum starts to rally, Polygon chain starts to rally, Avalanche starts to rally, they're all connected. They're all connected. And you can correct price across different chains with different assets, and it just creates this trickle down effect on basically everything. If we go into an altcoin season, which we haven't been, like we've made abundantly clear for years, pounding our head on the table, telling people not to buy alts while this chart keeps printing green candles. When this transitions to red, everything is going to go up. Everything. If it is a cryptocurrency, it is going to go up. even if it's not a cryptocurrency and somebody just says that it might be a cryptocurrency, one day it will go up. So just have faith, trust the system, trust the process. It's all part of it. Infrastructure for a decentralized internet. Hate to break it to you, but that's what Bitcoin is. But, you know, it'll take the world a long time to figure that out. So looks like blockchain cloud-based computing. It's not a new idea. We saw this with, what was it? God, all these relics of the past. I don't even remember what they're called anymore. Stratum or Stratus? I think it was Stratus. Stacks? Anyways, yeah, I think it was Stratus. Stratus did the same thing. I think even Filecoin did the same thing. So it's not a new idea, but every cycle we just regurgitate the same ideas and we pump out new coins. This coin's not that new though. You know, it looks like it's been around. Yeah, this coin's not new. So this would not be a project that I would choose personally. It's not one that I would choose. But I wish you well. If you have a large position in this, I wish you well. Decentralized search engine. Okay. SUI. SUI BTC. Like we said, SUI has a habit of these rounding bottoms. It created this double bottom. It created this double rounded bottom here, and it's going to create another rounding bottom. I'm not interested in getting SUI until the rounding bottom is rounding up. Until it's rounding up, I don't care. Rounding down, too early. Too early. Don't buy. Not worth your time. Rounding up, exiting that bottom. Now you can become interested. Where you really become interested, and this is like your last chance, is when we're up here. So if we rally up to this level and it breaks out past this high, that's your last chance to buy SUI right here. It's also the fastest gains that you will experience is when you buy up there. That'll be the fastest price appreciation. So you could buy down here and wait the couple months that it'll take for it to begin to accelerate, but I'm not buying on the downslope of the rounding bottom. %, don't get wrecked. Preservation, you know, everybody focuses so much time, effort, and energy on looking for opportunities in the market that they don't protect themselves enough. They don't protect themselves from the downside enough. And honestly, if you took a very conservative approach to the market, bought small positions in top altcoins, but you only did it when you were fully convinced that the risk in investment was gone. You're not trying to find value. You're not trying to nail the bottom. You're not watching Bitcoin pump and saying, what altcoin should I buy? You have looked at every measurable piece of information, and you are entering the market at the least amount of risk. You'll make so much more money. You will make so much more money. But people get greedy, they get delusional, and they jump into projects too soon, when more often than not, all you got to do is just, if you want to jump into a project, jump into Bitcoin and then wait. If you're paying attention to a different project, like SUI BTC, great example. So this is how the thought process should go down. I really want a position in SUI, so I'm going to buy Bitcoin. And then I'm going to wait. And then I'm going to wait until SUI is doing this. Bitcoin dominance is doing this. And total is doing this. So I'm very confident that we have continuation in the mix here. And then at that point, you just convert your Bitcoin, which has been appreciating in value the whole time. You just convert your Bitcoin into SUI, and now you've just added Bitcoin on leverage. Then when you start to get close to a Bitcoin top, not a SUI top, a Bitcoin top, you sell your SUI for Bitcoin. You don't care about price. You don't pay attention to price. You just pay attention to momentum and sentiment, and that's it. And mitigate risk. Like altcoins, guys, there is no such thing as an altcoin investment. If you are sitting down and you are making a plan of allocating funds into an altcoin as a long-term investment, hit the books, because you haven't quite figured it out yet. It's a scam. It's fugazi. It's nothing. It's bullshit. It's fairy dust. It's not real. The only thing that's real is Bitcoin. And that's why Bitcoin doesn't fall 90% during a bull market. That's why if you've had a heavily allocated Bitcoin portfolio, you're up several hundreds of percent while the altcoins are down. There's no such thing as an investment in alts. There are plenty of altcoin trades, but you got to time them well. And the easiest way for you to be patient is to have exposure to the market. Don't just sit in cash. If you sit in cash, you're going to get antsy. You're going to get twitchy. You're going to want some sort of skin in the game. Get your skin in the game with Bitcoin, and then wait for all of these signals to flash and make your rotation. And don't worry about price. Just worry about events. What a lot of people don't realize, and people on the channel have heard me say this numerous times, altcoins 4 months. A Bitcoin cycle, a Bitcoin bull market is 3 years long. I know it doesn't feel like that, but Bitcoin goes up. Like the low of Bitcoin came in after a year of downside. If we're on a 4-year cycle, from the bull market peak to the bear market low, it's a year, which means that Bitcoin is going up for 3 years. Altcoins don't do that. Altcoins go up for 3 months. That's it. And they do it at the very end of the cycle. The point I'm trying to make here is you have a lot of time. You have a lot of time to learn what's popular in the market. You can make notes. Oh, it seems like everybody's super excited about Sonic. I'm going to start paying attention to Sonic. Look at all the adoption that we're seeing on Solana. Okay, I'm going to have to make notes and build a position in Solana. But you don't make any moves. You don't make any moves till that last point in the market. And if you do that, you'll be outperforming. You'll be the top percentage of performance in global markets, period. Bitcoin is already outperforming basically every financial instrument on the face of the planet. If you can add leverage to that by timing altcoins well, you will be in the top percentile of performing operators in the world. But if you front run that, and if you get greedy or impatient, or convince yourself that maybe alts are going to run longer than they have in the past, then you're going to find yourself on the receiving end of fuck around and find out. DXY is dropping. What price do you see SUI going to next run based on a chart? You can't do price appreciation, so I have no idea. Here's how it works. SUI will turn into an uptrend at some point. And during that uptrend, at some point, Bitcoin will have a top. And let's say Bitcoin has a top here in October of this year. I know it says 26, but let's pretend it's October of this year. The Bitcoin top comes in. Whatever the price of SUI is the top. And nobody will have been able to call it. People will be too short of it. People will be too long. And nobody will get it right. You'll find one person right, because that's the law of random numbers. Somebody in the world will guess the top price of SUI, because that's just how probabilities work. But It doesn't matter. Don't care. You should not care what I think the price of SUI is going to do, because what I think the price of SUI is going to do doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. What I do know is that it will be a higher price than it is right now in Bitcoin terms. And that's all that you should really care about. So pay attention to Bitcoin. When Bitcoin tops, it is very, 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 very likely that SUI will have provided more Bitcoin for you by the time Bitcoin tops. And that's all that you can ask for. Do not introduce price into the mix, because you will create an anchoring bias. And the anchoring bias is how you turn into a bag holder. Oh, so-and-so said that SUI is going to reach $100. So-and-so said that SUI is going to reach $1,000. So I'm just waiting for half of that. No. SUI reaches the price that it reaches, whatever it is. It might come very short of what you think, and it might go well beyond what you think. You have no idea. But when Bitcoin stops, it's over. Get out. Sell it all. DXY dropping. Let's take a look. Oof. Beautiful. Beautiful. Dollar is devaluing. The dollar is devaluing very, very aggressively, I might add. This is interesting, because what we said was, once we get to the bottom of this channel, that might be it. That might be it for the market cycle. So I actually, at this point, I kind of want this to slow down a little bit. Now, something else crazy could happen where the dollar could actually break out of this channel. If the dollar breaks out of this channel, then I have no idea what's going to happen, and nobody has any idea what's going to happen. But that's kind of a double-edged sword, really, if that happens, because that means the dollar is losing significant value, more value than it can handle. And it's showing that things globally are really, really being stressed. And when we are stressing out a fragile financial market, that's where you start to entertain the idea that maybe we're setting up for a serious recession. No longer about a correction, no longer about a recession, probably a potential depression. So as exciting as that would be for asset prices in the short term, in the long term, that's not what you want to see. In the long term, that's going to signal that your life's about to get rough, and everybody else's life is about to get rough. So, yeah, there's a balance. There's a balance to be made there. We don't want to get too excited of the dollar just plummeting. The mistake I made, this is my second cycle, is hanging on to the ghost feeling of the crazy weeks in 2021 running after alts, as BTC was always the right call. Yeah, there's, it's part of the journey of getting into this space is, investing in different things and seeing what sticks, and then investing in enough things and looking back on the past and realizing that, yeah, Bitcoin doesn't do 100x's on the daily like some random obscure altcoin project does. But it produces gains consistently. And when you consistently search for gains that never happen, you consistently lose with these death by 1,000 cuts. You realize that, hey, if I just fucking did Bitcoin, invested everything I put in altcoins and instead put that in Bitcoin, I would actually be performing 10 times better, or maybe 20 times or 50 times better than I'm performing right now. And you realize, yeah, altcoins have this incredible power of, this lottery-like energy where you can do these stupid, nonsensical gains in a very short amount of time. But at the end of the day, you're searching for this like holy grail of setups that just doesn't come. So you need to weight heavily into Bitcoin. I dabble, guys. You know, I'm heavy into ordinals. I've minted a ton of ordinals. I'm in the trenches with the degens. You know, I'm there. But with all that being said, I'm over 90% Bitcoin, and it's done wonders. I've outperformed basically every altcoin trader, and by doing nothing, just holding Bitcoin. So yeah, you know, it's part of the journey. Everybody figures it out. I also allocated to silver in a number in November. To take profits, thinking of rebuying BTC with it. Could do. Where's the safest place for cash in a depression? Like physical, in a safe. That's the safest. Or in a safety deposit box in a bank, or I don't know. So the thing is, like, where are you? Is your bank insured? If your bank's insured and the money, like, I'll just use FDIC insurance as an example. If you are American, which I know you're not, B-Man, but anyways, you might have something similar in New Zealand. If you are an American, you have FDIC insurance, which means if you hold under $250,000 in the bank, it's insured. It's safe. You know how they insure it? You know how they make sure it's safe? If they don't have it, they will print it. So money in the bank is safe. Money in the bank is safe because we're so far down the printing rabbit hole that if you need more fake monetary tickets, they'll just print more fake monetary tickets. I don't really know the banking system down where you are. So if you have anything close to that's safe. If you don't have that, then self-custody cash, which is archaic, but you know, I know a lot of people that do that actually. You know, cash under the mattress, as ridiculous as that sounds. If you want full control over it, physical cash in your possession is a way for you to diversify a little bit. I bought silver because of the multi-cup and handle on the monthly. You guys know I don't care about precious metals. I care about precious sats. I'm a precious sats guy. How's MSTR doing? Yeah, this is going to gap up. We're going to gap up on the open here. So that'll be fun. MicroStrategy is going to gap up on the open. What is the stock market going to do? What's the S&P going to do? We're going to gap up on the S&P. We can take a look at the futures market, but it seems to always resolve in favor of the spot market. I usually wait for the spot S&P. Gold, on the other hand, gold keeps rallying. And this is an interesting indicator to me, the fact that gold is doing so well. Because this is telling, there's a lot of paper gold out there. You know, if the market is speculating on the price of gold and they just take paper, gold price doesn't move. The fact that gold is rallying is a reflection of the fact that people are taking physical gold. And it's already speculated that China is buying a lot of gold. Yeah, there's a real big demand for gold, and that's kind of telling as to like where maybe things are headed. You know, like I said, I've always maintained for this cycle that this cycle is going to be a really big one. We're going to have a really big bull market this cycle, and it's going to end in a very negative way. I think that I think the chickens are coming home to roost in the global financial markets. As exciting as Bitcoin is, as innovative as blockchain technology is, I don't think the excitement and innovation will insulate the cryptocurrency space from what's coming in the traditional financial space. So I think gold's kind of telling that story a little bit. It's saying that shit's about to hit the fan. But when shit hits the fan, what do governments do? They print. Money printer go burr, number go up. Simple as that. Simple as that. But yeah, let's just wrap things up here. Bitcoin's looking good. We have, like I said, I would love this daily candle close. Plenty of daily candle left. We'll see how it plays out. But if we can close higher than 87,250. Sorry, no, not 87,250. 87,6. If we can close higher than 87.6, that's going to be a very solid daily close. If we get that daily close above $87,600 for the price of Bitcoin in 19 hours, then that's a pretty strong signal that we are ready to take on the highs. We are ready to flip this SAR. That will flip our bear market bias. Currently, the wave is red. That will flip our bear market bias back into a bull market bias. And usually when we have a multi-week bear market bias, when you finally flip bullish, you get at least a 60% move. The last time it did it, this was just a 1 week flip, so we're not going to count it. But after a multi-week bear market flip, we got, a 60% move. So let's say we get that again. Let's say we climb up here and we get the close at around 100K. 60% above 100K is what? 160. So $160,000 for the price of Bitcoin. Coming soon. That's my prediction. That's what I think is going to happen over the next months. April will be a month of repair. May will be a month of an all-time high break. June will be an acceleration, very, very exciting month. And then anything after that, we'll have to take it 1 month at a time. I hope you guys enjoyed this content. Thank you all for joining into the live stream. And until next time, please trade safe. It is jungle out there. Peace.